Annyeonghaseyo, people from all places and races. So this is a topic if we wanted to cover for a very long time, and it's something that has been, you know, inside our mind for very long. It's surprising that just now I've been able to finally talk about it, and well, it's been something that no one seems to have even considered inside or outside of the community. And we've been thinking, what will the world be without the rabbits? It's a thing that has been on our mind for so long. Let's analyze this for a second. We all know the story by now. Rayman 4 by Ubisoft Montpellier was going to be an action platformer with beat 'em up elements and a whole open world, which was sadly cancelled because of the emergence of the Nintendo Revolution, aka the Nintendo Wii, which was mostly for mini games, and then the mini game collection became Rayman Raving Rabbids, and then it became a success. Eventually, the both franchises took paths. Rabbids became its own franchise, and that's the end of it. We don't know what happened later. The rest is history. But it's been almost 20 years since the Rabbids existed as a whole. And with all the ups and downs, it has come to our attention this question: what would the world be without the Rabbids? It's amazing when you think about it. There's so many people out there that used to have an unbridled hatred for them because they're annoying, because they don't have good games, and of course everything related with Rayman. But we never stopped for a second and thought, what would the world be if it never happened? What would the world be without the Rabbids? So let's think of this scenario. Let's say not only did we get Rayman 4 by, let's say, 2007 or 2006, but this Rayman 4 is a totally different thing. It's a 3D platformer, of course, but there's not a single reference or anything related with the invasion of the Rabbids. Maybe it could be the Phoenix Studio proposal that was done. Maybe that's the one that got released, or maybe a totally different thing. Without the Rabbids, would you really believe that Rayman would have it better? Honestly, we don't think so. We are in favor of a new Rayman game just like anyone in the world, and we are totally on board with a brand new Rayman 4. As in, not only Rayman 4 as a whole, but a new game that is called Rayman 4, which, as we all may know, we may be getting it sooner or later. But the thing is, thinking about this scenario, Rayman 4 releases, it's a good game, maybe on the same level as 2 or 3, and the thing is, what's going to happen later? Folks may say that the success of Rayman 4 could lead to more entries in the saga, and we picture that there could be a few more games in the franchise, maybe some spin-offs here and there, but that will be pretty much it. In fact, we don't see much coming from the franchise after that, because, well, folks don't seem to remember that at the time Ubisoft was also in a transitional period. The late 2010s was the era where Ubisoft started to shift into, sadly, what is known today with their massive open worlds and their focus on their AAA franchises and their quadruple A franchises. and they've been more prioritizing these big scale games opposed to the small AA titles, you could say. And the thing is, well, if Rayman 4 had released and it had nothing to do with the Rabbids, therefore, not only the Rabbids franchise will never exist, but also we don't think that Ubisoft would be that very interested in doing Rayman stuff, and progressively, we do believe that the franchise could become dormant as time went on, probably during the same time and even in the same years as 2013. But yeah, we could think that there could be a few more games, but yes. Now, one would say that's just the end of it. Another era where there is a few more Rayman games, the Rabbids don't exist, and that's the end of the story, but no, there's actually more to it. Without the existence of the Rabbids, a lot of things would have never happened. In fact, many Ubisoft games would have never existed. So, what games would we have never gotten if the Rabbids never existed? The first one is Just Dance. As Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party never came to fruition, because Rabbids don't exist, Just Dance would have never existed as a whole. We do believe that the concept of Just Dance could have been reworked in this alternate universe and probably done by some other company, probably a Japanese one, but it wouldn't exist. Zombie U wouldn't exist either, because folks, you remember that it was supposed to be a spin-off of the Rabbids series, Killer Freaks from Outer Space, or before Attack of the Killer Rabbids from Outer Space. Zombie U would have never existed. And something else that would have not existed would be everything related with the UbiArt era. The whole idea of the UbiArt era was to do something different with Rayman. They wanted to bring him back with something stellar, something unique, something that felt revolutionary. And they did. Rayman Origins, Rayman Legends, and the mobile titles also deserve some praise. But as the Rabbids never existed, there was never that state where the Rayman franchise was sidelined in favor of the Rabbids. And also, as there was no sideline, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So there wouldn't be any reason for the UbiArt era to exist. And Ubisoft would still be making Rayman games, at least for some time, but it would probably be still using variations of their current engines at the time, like for example the Jade engine that was the one they used for Rayman 3 Heart of Havoc, or maybe some other engines that there were at the time, like Unreal Engine 3 or 4. And you know what would have not existed as a whole? Mario Bros. Rabbids. And that is very obvious. I mean, why would there be a crossover with the Rabbids if the Rabbids don't exist? And that is the thing. But it actually takes us to something else. Without the existence of the Rabbids, the relationship with Nintendo and Ubisoft would not be as strong. In fact, we do believe that it would basically be non-existent. Because as there was no focus towards the small scale titles, the more casual titles focused on the Wii, Ubisoft will probably focus more on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, also PC. And Nintendo Wii could be getting some ports of some of their titles, but there wouldn't be as much of a priority. And probably they could still be getting the Rayman titles, but yeah, that would be much it. That will be pretty much it. And as that relationship never was as strong, there wouldn't be that high focus on exclusive deals and also potential crossover titles. And we do believe that there wouldn't be that much of a push for Rayman and Smash. One would argue this is us taking it very far, but no. Without the Rabbids, as there was no deep connection with Nintendo Ubisoft, the possibilities of having Rayman would be a bit more far away than one would expect. Because again, Ubisoft wouldn't be as very focused on that. There could be potentially a chance up there, but it wouldn't be that possible contrary to right now. Because even by the beginning of the 2010s, the relationship between Nintendo and Ubisoft was strong. And even though we haven't gotten Rayman by now, there are, in our universe, there are literally no reasons of why he can't be in it. But in this alternative reality, there is more reasons. There are many reasons why he couldn't be in it. And there's something else that you're not considering. Remember when we mentioned the Rayman, the Mario + Rabbids titles, right? So without the Rabbids, not only there wouldn't be a Mario + Rabbids saga, and there wouldn't be the return of Rayman in the Phantom Show, but we would have never gotten Davide Soriani in the position that he is. Or at least we don't think that there could be any sort of, you could say, we don't think there could be that he could have that big of a role. Because yes, we all know that Mr. Soriani, Papa Soriani, worked on the original Rayman 1 for Game Boy Color. He did help out on other titles. But folks are forgetting that he was also a creative director on Rabbids Alive and Kicking, which was the Xbox 360 Kinect exclusive. And that was not only a very notorious title and one of the fan favorites inside the community, but it was one of the major pushes, because it was released in 2013, that there was one of the major pushes for him to be able to get in touch with Nintendo. Because we're talking about a big project that he directed, the experience that he had inside the company with Milan and also with Paris, because it was made by Milan and Paris, Milan and Kicking. And therefore, no, Mario + Rabbids got to exist, but no. In this reality, we don't think that Mr. Papa Soriani would have had that kind of a portion, that kind of an impact from Ubisoft executives in order to make a project. Probably he would be interested in making a Mario and Rayman crossover, but we don't think it would have been as, you could say, as there would be that much confidence from both sides. And yes, these are all of the things that would have not happened if it weren't for the Rabbids. It leaves you thinking, you know. We are often focused on the idea that something bad happened, and if it never happened, we do believe things would be better, but sometimes that is not the case. Sometimes the bad things aren't really all that bad. There's a phrase that goes, "There is no bad that for good it doesn't come." And we do believe that this applies here more than ever. One would think that without the Rabbids, the world would be a better place, and Rayman could be bathed in glory with tons of collaborations and games, but we don't think it would have gone that far, or at least be that big of a deal right now. thinking of everything that we don't have makes us value what we do have. And think about of everything we've been having these last few years. The board game that is coming, the fan games, the lovely community, the new plushies. Thank you, Miss Ice Cream. the the incredible fan pages. Thank you, Mackenzie, and many more stuff. It's amazing how we live in this reality. It may not be the best, but it is a good one. And we do believe that without the Rabbids, this world would be a lot more miserable. There's so many things that would have never happened. And not just in terms of games and Ubisoft and Nintendo and all that stuff, but also in terms of people. Because what would the world be without the Rabbids fandom? We got some evidence right here. You see, this is what could possibly happen without the Rabbids fandom. And we do believe that without the Rabbids, we don't think that people like Officer Apple, From Facing Rayman, Franny Martinez, and of course Lolo the Paragon will be the people that we all cherish and love today. And Rabbids has had... Being a Rabbids fan is also not only one of the highest, you could say, honors one could have inside the internet, but also means the heart that one has. It's a status that is known amongst people that are one of a kind. And it is something that we should appreciate. Appreciate ourselves, appreciate what we live, appreciate what we have. Sometimes you think that you're missing on something, but maybe there's a reason why we are living in what we are today. And we do believe that things are going to be better, because they already are better. Raiden fandom is probably on their biggest comeback era one could ever ask for, with the remake that is on the way, the early development ideas of Rayman 4, and so many other stuff that one could appreciate, the fan games, the drawings, and all the wonderful members of the community. And yes, I do believe that the Rabbids fandom should be always thankful that the Rabbids exist, and that the Rayman fandom should also be thankful that they exist. Because we ask you, what would the world be for Rayman and for you if this never happened? Probably, if it wasn't for the Rabbids, probably a lot of folks would not be even Rabbids fans, but not be Rayman fans in the first place. Front Facing Rayman was one of them. He got to meet the Rabbids. He got to meet the Rabbids, and therefore he met Rayman, who became one of his favorite characters of all time. And he later became one of the biggest icons inside the Rabbids fandom, and a very childish fella inside the Rayman community. And and that happened a lot with other people, like Stick Space, for example. It's kind of interesting how, for a time, she was a Rayman fan and dated a Rabbids fan. We think that's the coolest thing ever. It happened. It is true. Yes. We do think that things happen for a reason. And there's a reason why we are all living in this era. And from what we can tell, things are good as they are. We wouldn't ask for anything different if we had the chance. yes, that would be everything we wanted to discuss. We wanted to tackle on this video for years now. And, that will be everything for today, folks. Love y'all. Stay safe. And we'll see you around.